Truth, lies, shenanigans.
All right. So, for those of you who aren't in the know, approximately 13,000 auto workers in the US made a significant move last Friday by stopping vehicle production and starting a strike. So, the strike has come to be due to an impasse between the union and leaders and the union leaders and Detroit's three major auto manufacturers over contract negotiations and compensation terms. Members of the United Auto Workers Union took to picket lines at key locations, including the General Motors assembly plant in Wentzville, Missouri, a Ford manufacturing facility in Wayne, Michigan, near Detroit, and a Stellantis Jeep plant in Toledo, Ohio. What makes this strike even more remarkable that it is the first instance in the union's 88-year history where it simultaneously walked out on all three automotive giants. So the collective action came to take place after the 4-year contract expired on Thursday. So, given the current climate of union breaking in the US, how do you think the outcome of this strike might impact the future of labor unions in the country? And do you think that the UAW, the United Auto Workers, will be successful in their challenge?
Start with
Good
you, Jenny.
question.
What do you think?
Yeah. Well, it does depend because if it is unsuccessful, not only does it discourage like other union people trying to do the same thing with these bigwig companies, but it then puts these strikers at risk of potentially losing it all. But if this is successful, then I feel like we can expect, the other union members to follow suit and go after these bigwig companies. And that does help the workers because, in my opinion, I don't see them what they're demanding or what they're requesting isn't something that is unfair, basically. So it kind of depends on where the pendulum swings with this. But the only issue I have is I don't want to, if I'm paying for a car, I don't want the price to go up because this strike is lasting for so long.
Yeah.
So if we're doing a strike, kind of like the writer's strike, but different because we're being affected by our transportation, I just feel like I'm not for that. So
Are you buying a car anytime soon?
I might need to. This Kia is a target.
Well, no, Kia's not really affected. Well, there could be a shortage because everybody's going to be buying Kias and Toyotas and everything like that. Yeah.
And there's already a shortage of vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Yep.
Yeah. The American vehicles, though. You're right. There was already a shortage because of the pandemic, and then there was a shortage because of the transistors or whatever the electronics. Yeah, the chip production. Yeah. So, yeah, there was already a shortage, and they were just catching up so that you could actually go out and buy a car. But now this happens. Anyway.
But to answer your second question, Rob, I feel like because of the amount of people that showed up, like you said, this is a huge amount of people showing support. And because they seem pretty organized, they seem serious. A lot of people are backing them, aka Biden. I think that this could be a positive outcome for them. I think that they could be successful or at least come to some type of agreement.
Yeah. So if your question, Robbie, is are they going to be successful? Success is relative, right? Because they may ultimately get some of what they want. And if that's success, then yeah, they'll be successful. I don't think they'll get everything they're asking for.
Who does?
So, I mean, if they do, then they're exceptionally successful.
Right.
So, but it's hard to answer. I mean, at some point, it's going to end because people need to get back to work. And this is challenging for the workers as well because they get, I think, $500 a week pay, union pay or something like that. Something around that is from what I understand. But
yeah.
But, I don't know. I have a thing with unions. Unions are valuable because they ensure that people who are, not making their money or being treated poorly, that they are treated poorly and that they get the money that they want or need. We're looking at the writers' strike and all that good stuff. I mean, there are these ridiculous amount of profits that these companies are making, and these employees are not getting their fair share of those profits, and it's all going to the executives and the managers and all that stuff. Yeah, so it's got to be somebody to speak for people. But I don't know if I like the concept of unions, or I just don't like how unions are done here in the U.S. And the reason is because, it's sort of an outdated system. I think the union I think about first when I hear unions is the police union, right?
Okay.
And I get that unions protect workers, but when it comes to like police unions, they're protecting the bad cops, and they make it damn near impossible to fire a cop who's clearly in the wrong. We've seen it time and time again. A cop does something outrageous and the union swoop in and they're a superhero. It's the same thing in most other union situations where, there are these bad employees that you just can't get rid of because they are unionized. Right. And so you're stuck dealing with these poor employees.
That's a management issue. You can manage poor performance out. You can absolutely, it's a lot of work, but you can manage out poor performance. I understand what you're saying though, Neo. Unions have taken a bad rap because they protect their entire membership. Whether you're excelling or you're meeting the minimum criteria, they will go to bat for you 100%. And that's because, let's see.
And their contracts that allow bad behavior.
Yeah.
But the concept of a union itself bothers you, or just specific unions?
No. Not the concept of a union. The concept of a union is good because the concept of a union, the intent of a union is to ensure that employers are not are not abusing their employees, right? And if we didn't have unions, especially during the 50s and 60s when people were being treated poorly, then, or even the 30s, if unions really didn't exist to kind of fight for, those workers, then we wouldn't have the incomes that we have now.
True.
I mean, there's still some work to do. So there's value to unions. Plus, and this is a pro and a con, is their political power, right? Because these unions wield a lot of political power, and they do a lot of lobbying, and they do a lot of, and again, it's a pro and a con because a lot of them are, they're lobbying for good things for workers, but they're also lobbying for a lot of negative things. So I don't know. It's just, and they wield a lot of political power. If they want a particular president in, you hear the UAW backs Biden, there's a good chance Biden's getting in. If they go with Trump, there's a good chance Trump's getting in. And so to have that kind of power in a union is significant, but again, it's both good and it's bad, right? It can be dangerous.
Joe Biden himself said, or I don't know if he said it himself, but I think the article referenced that he's setting out to be the most friendliest. Wait, what is it? Let me verbatim. Joe Biden's proud claim to be the most union-friendly president in American history. So, how do you guys think that will turn out in the upcoming American election?
It keeps Trump out.
People are having a hard time making ends meet, Johnny. So I think that taking a pro-union stance speaks to the people. It definitely doesn't speak to the manufacturers and the 1%, because, having a union environment does make things a little bit more problematic because you can't run things however you see fit. But, in this climate that we've seen in America with union busting, when we've seen the responsibility of running a good fiscal operation is to the shareholders, which are important. But at the end of the day, if you don't have good employees producing a quality product, you're not going to be making those record profits, neither are your shareholders. So you need to take care of these people. And when we're getting into more and more automation in fields that require assembly, I think the profit sharing is a very, very important factor, because when you've got less workers on the floor, there's still that much money that's being made up top. So you need to share that wealth with the people who are running that business. Absolutely. it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because to have three major manufacturers hit simultaneously, like that's what really kind of blew my mind on this one, was the scope of it. To hit Ford, to hit Jeep, to hit GM simultaneously with your membership, while all of these people are making huge amounts of money. This is the time to do it. This is the time to flex. And from what I've seen, they're not looking for anything unreasonable. It's, wages and compensation, job security, healthcare and benefits, working conditions,
days.
Contract lengths. These are things that we all should be concerned with, and we should be supporting the unions, because they help set the tone for what's acceptable in the rest of the industries. They really, really do.
Yeah,
they do.
And with the record profits, I mean, they can certainly afford it. So I'm for the strike. I'm 50-50 on unions in general. Just because, and mostly, and I will say mostly because of the police union specifically. Because there are some people that.
But you got to weigh out the goods and the bads, because if it's helping more people than the stupid police union, then